Hey guys, I need to clarify something here in the very beginning of this video. For those of you who are coming here after watching the 68 Spitfire Mark III engine rebuild, you don't need clarification because you know what's going on, but there are some guys, I guess, who are watching this as a playlist about the 66 Spitfire, and after part 30, in which I took them for a ride, I suddenly pull the engine out and I put it back in. Well, that's not exactly what's going on. I actually pulled out the 1147 engine from the car because it requires work, and I stowed temporarily a 1296 engine, which is coming from my 68 Mark III Spitfire. So I know in the previous two parts of this playlist I showed you the first start of the engine. I even took you for a ride in part 30. But now I'm gonna make a little bit throwback video, and I'm gonna show you how this engine was installed in the car. And if you wanna watch the rebuilding process of this engine, you have to go to the 68 Spitfire playlist and watch it there. I'm gonna give you a link here so you can take the shortcut. Okay, so the engine is in. Most of the parts, the auxiliary parts, are in. Carburetors, radiator and everything. There is no exhaust. You see the manifold ends there, so that's one thing that I have to deal with. But before that I need to install the distributor. But before the distributor I'm gonna prime the oil system. That's why I left it out, because I wanted to use my drill and turn the oil pump manually, so I can prime the oil system before I attempt to start the engine for the first time. And that's always good to do when you rebuild an engine, because the oil filter is empty, the whole system is basically empty. Yes, we put a lot of oil everywhere we worked, but still it's a good idea to prime the engine, as that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna put oil in the engine and I'm gonna prime the system. I decided to use this 20W50 and oil additive because everybody says that it's a good thing to add ZDP, which is zinc, to the oil for these old engines. Otherwise you might round the camshaft and the tappets and everything. So maybe I should come to this side, huh? Yeah. To be honest, I don't know how much oil I need, so I'm gonna trust the dipstick. It's almost there. Okay. So I sacrificed an old screwdriver, which I wasn't using anyways. And I'm gonna use my drill now. So counterclockwise. That, and now the rag around, because without the rag it's gonna splash all over the place. Okay, let's see now. Now I can't see the oil, the pressure, but you can see it. Can you check it for me? Okay guys, so check it for me. I'm gonna go there and turn the drill, and you're gonna tell me if it moves or not. Does it move? You can it went all the way to the 80, yeah? That's a lot. Plus, I can see here, it started coming out of the rocker holes, which is good. Okay, I think that's gonna be enough for now. I'm gonna wait for it to settle a little bit, and I'm gonna check the level, and I'm gonna add oil if I need to. So now, the next thing to do, until we wait for the oil to settle down, we need to install the distributor drive shaft. So according to the manual, the end plate should be between 2 and 7/1000 inch. So to measure the end plate, we're gonna do the following. We have this washer here, which can fit in the drive shaft. So before I put it in though, I'm gonna measure the thickness. And the thickness of this washer is, let's say, 80/1000 inch. We're gonna take note of that. We have 80/1000 inch spacer that we put there. And now I can drop the shaft there with the washer on it. I don't care about the position now. Later I'm gonna show you how to position it properly. For now, all I need is to drop it down there, but now it needs to match with the slot of the oil pump. So I'm gonna turn the engine until it clicks there. And now I have one spark plug in, and it's gonna give me a hard time to turn it because there's gonna be compression, hopefully. Okay. So I'm turning the engine until we are in gear. Until the drive shaft of the distributor drops down. Now it went in. Okay, now I know that they are engaged, the oil pump and the shaft. And now I can put the distributor in. This slot in the middle is off-center. This is so I can position the distributor in only one position. I can't position it in 180 degrees. Okay. And it's in now. Everything is engaged, and I have a little gap here. So I'm gonna put the two nuts. And I'm not gonna tighten them too much because I'm gonna break the pedestal. But like just literally finger tight, and maybe a little bit with the wrench, just so I'm sure that it is all the way down. So just a little bit. Don't tighten too much because you're gonna snap the pedestal. Okay. Now feeler gauges, and we're gonna measure the gap between the pedestal and the block of the engine. I'm just gonna grab a random selection of leaves. Okay, that's too tight. That's too loose. So what did I remove? I removed 15. Maybe I should go with the beginning, yeah. That's gonna be easier because I can play with. That's too. Okay. So let's see how much is that. Let's zero this thing, and we have 81. This means that if we remove our washer there, which is 80/1000 of an inch, we will still have a gap of 1/1000 of an inch, right? Because now we have 81. which means that the drive is going to be squeezed too hard with the nuts. Right now we have 1/1000 preload, so we need to get rid of that by adding 1/1000 gasket, and then we're going to have zero clearance. Yes, but we need between 2 and 7/1000 clearance. This means that our gasket needs to be 1 plus 2 to get to the minimum tolerance. So 1 plus 2 or 1 plus 7. So our gasket needs to be between 3007 and 8007, right? So I'm gonna bring the gasket now and we'll see how thick it is and we'll go from there. So my gasket is 7007 7/1000 brings me to 6007 clearance, which is exactly what we want, right? So I'm going to use this gasket. Now we have to position the shaft there in the proper position for the ignition. So how do we put it in the right position? We need to bring the engine to the top dead center of the first cylinder on the power stroke. This means when we need the spark plug to fire. To be able to do this, we need to be able to see the valves. Let me bring it further back. So to be able to bring the first cylinder to the top dead center of the power stroke, we need to be able to see the two valves. Unfortunately, I already put the cover and I don't want to take it out, so I'm going to do another trick. I'm going to adjust the top dead center of the power stroke of the fourth cylinder, because I can see the valves from here, how they move and when they move. And when I am at the top dead center of the power stroke of the fourth cylinder, I'm going to make one full turn of the crankshaft, and that's going to bring me to the top dead center of the first cylinder, right? Okay, so what you see, guys, there is the exhaust valve of the fourth cylinder. I'm gonna turn the engine. Now it is at the top dead center of the first, which is also the top dead center of the fourth cylinder. And now when I keep turning it, I will see if this valve is moving. If this valve is moving, this means that this top dead center of the fourth cylinder is the exhaust stroke. If it's not moving, this means that this is the top dead center of the power stroke. So let's see if it's moving. No, I don't see it moving. Do you? No. I'm turning the engine back and forth, but it's not moving. Okay, so I'm gonna make one full turn now. 1, 2. Okay, now it is moving. Now it started to open, right? So a little bit before it closes again, it's gonna be at top dead center, and that's gonna be the exhaust stroke. Okay, now we are at top dead center again, and now we are at the top dead center of the fourth cylinder of the exhaust stroke, which means that this is the top dead center of the first cylinder of the power stroke. Okay, so now I'm gonna install the drive shaft here, so I'm gonna move you a little bit here. So now in this position of the crankshaft and camshaft, of course, I have to put this drive shaft in this position. It needs to be like that when it goes all the way down. The bigger segment needs to be towards me. The smaller segment here, the smaller ball, it needs to be on towards the engine. But you see, when it goes down, it turns a little, so that's why I need to put it like that, almost horizontal, and when it goes down, it goes to its final position. But now, again, I will have to turn the engine until the oil pump engages too. So now turning the engine and pushing on the drive down until it goes down. It clicks. Okay. And now I'm gonna go back to the top dead center and I will check how does it sit. Okay, that's way too much. So we are one tooth away. So I'm gonna take it out again and we're gonna move it one tooth. Okay, but now we still, again, we need to engage it with the oil pump, right? So I'm gonna turn the engine backwards because I know that the oil pump, the slot is a little bit backwards. So I'm gonna turn this time backwards the engine. Okay, and now I'm gonna bring it again to the top dead center, which is right here. Okay, now I like it. So this is the position of the drive. So we have the correct ignition timing. So this is top dead center of the first cylinder, power stroke, and the drive shaft has the bigger bow towards me and the smaller bow towards the engine, and it has a slight angle. It's not horizontal, it has a slight angle, but not too much as the first time that we did it. And now we can put the gasket and install the distributor. And now I have to set our timing. For this car, it's gonna be hard because I don't have degrees on the front pulley, but I'm gonna do it very rough, and I'm gonna attempt to start the car and then I'm gonna adjust it with manually. For the beginning, I'm gonna set the crankshaft to be a little bit before the top dead center, which I'm just eyeballing it. It must be somewhere 6-7 degrees before top dead center, and I eyeballed it, it's 5.5. Okay, according to my eyeballs. Okay, my test light is connected to the battery, and now if I touch ground with it, it should give me a green light. You see? That's a green light. Actually, I'm going to turn this light off. Wow, that's too dark for you, but you're gonna see better my test light. So if I touch ground, anywhere I touch ground with the test light, it gives me green light, okay? When it feels power, it is red. So I'm gonna put it here, like that, if I can keep it there somehow. Come on, stay. Okay, I can put it here. That's the same thing. You know, this cable, this wire, is connected to the contact points. So what happens is when my light is showing green, this means that the contact points are connected and I'm sensing the ground. When they disconnect, I'm gonna sense the power from the ignition coil. So I'm turning this clockwise slowly until the light turns to red. Sorry, I was touching the... Okay. Okay. So I guess this is my ignition, and there's nothing else but to try to start it. We have coolant, we have oil, we have gas in the gas tank, but not in the system, so it's gonna take a while until the gas comes to the carbs. So I guess we can give it a try. If it starts, we don't have exhaust. We don't have any exhaust, so if it starts, it's gonna be noisy and smoky probably, because there's oil inside the cylinders right now. I'm guessing there's gonna be smoke. Hopefully it's gonna start though. So I'm gonna turn the ignition on and try it. Ooh. Okay, not enough fuel though. Okay, obviously the fuel pump needs some help, so I decided to open the both and fill them up with gas manually. Okay, so now even the fuel system is primed. Running for like 15 minutes now, and the thermostat opened. The temperature inside shows me 70 degrees Celsius, which is perfect because this is what I wanted. I bought summer thermostat, and now it's warmed up all over the place. So now I'm gonna add the zinc. It's zinc hyper loop. That's what I got. I'm gonna add it, and I'm gonna run the engine for another maybe 10 minutes until I get ready to leave. It runs beautifully, huh? So there you go. She's up and running again, and she is clicking like a Swiss clock, as they say. There were a few more things that I had to do after. I had to adjust the ignition timing a little bit. What else? The engine didn't have a good ground. The cable was loose, so that's why she was having trouble cranking in the beginning. And she needed the charger. And what else? Well, little things here and there. Now she's been on the road for almost 3 months, I think, and she runs beautifully with this engine. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep posting more videos about her here in this playlist because there are things that I neglected during the restoration and they came up right away, like differential leaks and hub bearings and stuff like that. So stay tuned and you're gonna see more about her. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing and commenting, and I'm gonna see you in my next video.